What's going on, Panther Nation? What's going on? What's up, Doug Nation? It's your man C Dougie coming to you with Combine Preview. The week of the Combine's finally here. Senior Bowl is over with. Shrine Bowl is over with. Super Bowl is over with. Basically, the new fiscal year is starting to approach. Free agency will be able to start here in the second week in March, man. But we are here to talk about Combine. Prospects that we think the Panthers need to play a closer look at, which they've already looked at a close look at some of these prospects with already meeting with them at the Shrine Bowl and at the Senior Bowl. So I appreciate everybody pulling up, man. We're going to go ahead and go through a couple announcements, get into the content, get you guys out of here, man. So as you guys already know, we are sponsored by SeatGeek here at What's Up, Doug. Go ahead and pull the ticker up. With your first ticket price, you will receive $20 off for first-time users using the code What's Up, Doug. Again, shout out to SeatGeek being our sponsor. For first-time users, you get up to $20 off your first ticket purchase with using the code What's Up, Doug. All right, we already got that out the way, so let's go ahead and shout out to our members here at What's Up, Doug. Again, if you are not a member, you definitely want to sign up. We already have a members-only video out. We'll also be doing a members giveaway here in March coming up as well, for one of our nights when we have our Blitz Talk episode showing up. So again, shout out to our members that have signed up for the Dougie Effect. We will put the join how to get to be a member in the chat, also in the comments as well. Only thing you have to do is click it and hit join. Again, the memberships here at What's Up, Doug are 99 cents, not even $1. So I appreciate all our members that have read up and members that have actually signed up with the Dougie Effect. All right, so last one, we also have something coming in March. The Inside Zone. Shout out to CJ with Carolina's Armchair GM, who's joined along with me to bring you guys a Patreon with the Inside Zone. We'll be doing a lot of different content, a lot of different giveaways, so just stay tuned. We will be bringing that to you guys here in March. For our members, you kind of know a little bit more of the inside, but for the public, again, if you want that inside scoop, that discounted price when the Inside Zone drops in March, definitely go ahead and join with the membership. But Inside Zone is coming to everyone on the platform of YouTube through Patreon, along with CJ from Carolina's Armchair GM. So, like I said, Combine's here. We're going to talk about prospects for the D-line, linebacker, defensive backs, corners and safeties, wide receivers, and running backs. Yes, I understand. I didn't put tight ends on this slide. We don't need a quarterback, I don't think. With Andy Dalton being re-signed to a 2-year deal, and you still have rights to Jack Plummer, I do not think we'll bring in another quarterback. I understand we do need a tight end possibly. You also can always draft offensive linemen for depth pieces. So I didn't put those particular two positions in this slide deck. But the position of needs, I do think we need a defensive line address off rip. Then you need more depth at linebacker. We definitely need safeties. We can use depth at corner. Who is going to be the backup running back with Chuba Hubbard? Is Miles Sanders going to be cut? We do know Jonathan Brooks is going to be sitting out for the whole year. So what other running back is going to be there? I know people are saying Blackshear and Mike Boone are not on this roster right now, as of right now. So that may change before the combine starts, and they also can be brought back. But right now, we don't have anybody in a running back room outside of Chuba Hubbard. Yes, you have Jonathan Brooks on there, but he is sitting out for the 2025 season. Also, wide receivers. When Adam Thielen retires, we need to go ahead and bring in a young man that can be, blossom and molded underneath Adam Thielen. So I do think wide receiver is a need as well. But let's go ahead and get into it, man. As I said, NFL Combine Preview. Who will catch the Panthers' eye in Indianapolis? Breakdown, as we already said, defensive linemen, both interior and edge, are first up. Linebackers are second. Defensive backs, safeties, and corners are third. Wide receivers, and we close it out with running backs. So with the schedule, It starts on February 27th with defensive linemen and linebackers with on-field workouts. Then let's go ahead and go to Friday, February 28th. You got defensive backs and tight ends. Saturday, quarterbacks, wide receivers, running backs. And then we close it out on Sunday, March the 2nd with offensive linemen. And if I'm not mistaken, they also do specialists on that day. Don't quote me, but I do think specialists and offensive linemen close out our combine for 2025 on Sunday, March the 2nd. So for me, I think Carolina needs to be paying attention to every single day. One thing that you cannot be a bad thing is depth. You never know what's going to happen. You can double up. I mean, BPA, I really think, is the best way for this draft for us. There's a lot of needs on both offense and defense. Yes, offense. We don't really have a solid center. Austin Corbett and Brady Christensen are free agents. Then you look at, again, the running back position. You're young at wide receiver. I mean, quarterback, I think that's the only position that I'll say I don't think we'll address again. But let's go ahead and go into the slide deck with interior linemen first. Name off a couple of people. As you can see, the picture here is Walter Nolan. The more noise, the more film I watch on Walter Nolan out of Ole Miss, I am not opposed of him being at 8, or if he's a trade back option for the Carolina Panthers. 6'3", 305. Total tackles his last year at Ole Miss was 48. Sacked 6.5. Forced fumbles 2. But we also have a couple of other interior defensive linemen I think Carolina will like to look at. Mason Graham is the obvious one. His running mate and Kenneth Grant both coming out of Michigan. Derek Harmon out of Oregon. Darius Alexander at Toledo. Alfred Collins out of Texas. Deion Walker out of Kentucky. Jordan Phillips out of Maryland. And J.J. Pegas also out of Ole Miss. These are some of the young men I think have already met with the Carolina Panthers via the Senior Bowl and Shrine Bowl. I know J.J. Pegas has. I know Walter Nolan has already met with him. I don't know about Kenneth Grant because Kenneth Grant was at the Shrine Bowl, but he did not play. So I'm not sure if he got an interview there because he basically was just to show his face, take interviews. But I do know we need a running mate alongside A'Shawn Robinson and Derek Brown. Mason Graham is the cream of the crop, but again, I am not opposed of if Walter Nolan has a great combine of Walter Nolan being that pick at number 8. The more steam, he's picking up steam at the right time right now. And again, I'm going back to what Dan Morgan has said in interviews and also word of mouth, face-to-face when I had him. They're going to double down and they're going to attack free agency. Free agency is only going to be part one of what the Carolina Panthers are going to do. They may get one in free agency and double down at pick 8 and get one. But again, the draft is not stopping just the first round. Also, I think you can possibly get an Alfred Collins, a Deion Walker, a Jordan Phillips, and a J.J. Pegas in the second or third day of the draft. So, yes, we always look at the combine or the drafts where they say wide receiver, running back, or deep. If you need defensive pieces, what Carolina needs, this is the draft for us. This is the draft where you address that defensive line, that front four. This is the draft where you get an edge rusher that you blossom and then you make that your franchise piece. We had a Brian Burns. Yes, it didn't work out. Some people love and hate him. But again, this is the draft where you address the needs that we know we need a front four starting from the middle, meaning interior D lineman. So let's go ahead and look at a couple of defensive edges or edge rushers that we like as well. James Pierce Jr. out of Tennessee. 6'5", 235, total tackles 38, sacked 7.5, 1 forced fumble. The more I look at this player as well, we know Aldu Carter is the blue chip player right here. Aldu Carter will probably be gone by the time the Carolina Panthers draft at number 8. But then you have a Mike Green out of Marshall who's catching a lot of steam based off of his play at the Senior Bowl. You got Shamir Stewart, a 6'6", raw, talented edge rusher. Cal Kennard out of South Carolina. Jerry Ivey, my favorite out of Ole Miss, another Rebel that I'm very attracted to team up with some of his players to have that process blue on. Elijah Roberts out of SMU. Had a pleasure of meeting him, seeing him at the Shrine Bowl. Great undersized edge rusher that's a tweener that uses his speed to get underneath the offensive lineman's pads to go ahead and get to the quarterback. And then we have Ahmad Hassan out of Boise State. And I probably said his name wrong, I think. But I actually like these group as well. Again, like we just said on the interior defensive lineman, I think defensive line, regardless if it's a edge rusher or interior D lineman, needs to be the number one pick out of number 8. But again, I'm not opposed to trading back because this draft is so deep. Again, that doubling down comment that Dan Morgan has said, I think is the smartest move for Carolina. But again, the draft does not stop in the first round. You have 7 rounds. And most people think you can just win in the first round. No, you have to be strategic in the background. If I'm not mistaken, we have almost 9 picks right now. If we accumulate more, that means trading back up within that 74 to 100, the 100 plus round that we have. But again, I want us to address either interior D lineman first, then edge rusher to go in. And that's the reason why we have these slides in this particular order, because this is where I think the need is to address is interior or vice versa, the edge rusher. So next we have linebacker. As we know, we got Trevin Wallace last year. Josie Jewell is coming into his own. But I'm not opposed to bringing in Jack Kaiser. Notre Dame, 231. Total tackles, 92. Sacks, 2. Forced fumbles, 2. But there's a lot of talk about Jalen Walker out of Georgia. Then you have Chris Paul Jr. out of Ole Miss. Kobe King, a lot of people have been taking him in mocks out of Penn State. Colton Littenberg has definitely caught a lot of noise with him saying that he wants to model his game after one of the greatest linebackers ever in Luke Kuechly. Then you have Karan Reed out of Utah, and then Samal Mondon Jr. out of Georgia. If you guys have been paying attention to the channel, you guys know I've drafted Kobe King. I've drafted Cody Littenberg. I've drafted Saman Mondon Jr. But I think linebacker is the next biggest thing. Since Luke Kuechly and Thomas Davis have left, we have not really had a 2 dynamic linebacker core. Yes, I understand Shaq Thompson's a free agent. He wants to play for 3 to 5 years. But is Brenton Tillis and Dan Morgan willing to give him that bag for a 3 to 5 year deal? I'm not sure about it. Again, that is the vocal captain on the defensive side of the ball. But addressing the linebacker is just as important on the front 4. Again, like I said, any one of these 7 gentlemen can come in and be an immediate impact along with Trevin Wallace and Josie Jewell. Again, like I said, Trevin Wallace had his lumps, but again, the best game that we saw when he had the green dot was the Chicago Bears game last year. But we don't have much depth behind that position as well. So I honestly think it is the draft again. I know we did this before with Scott Fitterer, where we had an all defensive draft. I'm not saying that we need to go all defense from 1 to 7 rounds, but you can sprinkle a little bit of offense, but your main focus should be fixing that defensive side of the ball to go along with your offense. And then again, one thing that I want this defense to be in 2025 is a top 15 defensive unit as a whole. So let's go ahead and go into our back 4 defensive backs. We got 3 here spotlighted. You got Will Johnson out of Michigan. You got Siobhan Revis Jr. out of East Carolina. And you got Noah Williams out of Cal. Along with these gentlemen that have caught our attention is Trey Amos out of Ole Miss, Xavier Watts out of Notre Dame, Lathan Ransom out of Ohio State, Nick Emery-Ward out of South Carolina, Melo Dotson, and Kobe Bryant out of Kansas, Jacob Parrish out of Kansas State, Upton Stout, Western Kentucky, and Malachi Moore out of Alabama, who a lot of people were having at the back end in that 6th and 7th round, has definitely went up the rankings as well recently based off of film and tape and him being healthy. But Will Johnson I am not opposed if we double down and off in free agency. I am not opposed of having 2 lockdown corners in a Will Johnson combo with J.C. Horn. Also, Noah Williams was here at the Shrine Bowl, had a interception, if I'm not mistaken, in the game. Or no, I nearly caught an interception during the game, but caught an interception on the last day of competitive practice before a walkthrough on Sunday. And hometown kid, everybody is not opposed to Carolina drafting if he does fall. It's Siobhan Rivers Jr. if Carolina trades back. But again, a safety that I like as well is Xavier Watts, and also Upton Stout out of Western Kentucky. With Stout, I like Stout, but he's 5'10". Again, we had a smaller corner in Captain Mutterland that, and shout out to One Carolina. John made this point whenever we had his collab with him. Captain Mutterland could have played safety, but he wanted to play corner. But again, with Upton, with that small size, he reminds me of a Captain Mutterland. That's the reason why I bring that point up. 5'9", 5'10" for a corner, for a safety is very small. So I want to know if his versatility is able for him to come down and also play nickel. I understand we have Chai Smith-Wade, but we don't have depth pieces where we have players come down again, where we have people coming off the street, coming in, playing, and starting when we needed to have drafted or homegrown talent players that come in and compete. We can't have what we had whenever you had J.C. Horn go down, or whenever you needed a player to take a breather. You're getting players that don't even play on a 53-man roster. So again, I am not opposed of getting Stout, but I want to know if it's his versatility to play nickel as well as safety. Kobe Bryant and Melo Dotson, we have both drafted both of these corners in our last 2 mock drafts. Also, Nick Emmenwar, I just seen that he may be a end of the round 1 draft pick. If that's the case, you have Xavier Watts there as well. But again, you also have Nathan Ransom at Ohio State. Again, we only have 1 safety, people, and Damani Richardson signed right now. Xavier Woods, Jordan Fuller, Sam Franklin, all those guys are not underneath contract right now. So safety may be addressed in free agency, but again, don't be surprised if we bring in one of these young men to round out that room and provide competition to start. I mean, Damani Richardson made good plays for us whenever he had opportunity when Jordan Fuller went down. But again, I want there to be as much competition in the safety room or on that defensive side where it makes our defense gritty, tough, and dogs like Dan Morgan wants. All right, opposite side of the ball now. Wide receiver. Highlighted wide receiver is no other than Jimmy Horn Jr. out of Colorado, 5'10", receptions 37, yards 441, 1 touchdown. He had to, we already know he had to compete with Travis Hunter. He had to compete with Webster and Shepard as well. But I think Jimmy Horn Jr. is a late round gem. Depends on what he runs at the 40. Depends on how he does at the combine. I would not be opposed of us drafting Jimmy Horn Jr. I know everybody is fascinated with Ted McMillan out of Arizona. But again, if we do not go that route, you have other options like a Jack Beck out of TCU who won the MVP at the Senior Bowl, whose stock is going up. A Jalen Rose out of Utah State. Isaiah Bond out of Texas. Another wide receiver I like is Pat Bryant. With his size, I want to see how he runs. I understand game tape is different than running in shorts and a t-shirt for the combine, but I just want to know his 40 numbers. Then Cal Williams, another one of my favorite who I've drafted almost every time along with Nick Nash. But Cal Williams is out of Washington State and Nick Nash out of San Jose State. I do think we need another wide receiver. We need to blossom another wide receiver. With the news of T. Higgins, I think everybody can hang that up. If Carolina still pulls it off, I will be shocked. I know the Garrett Wilson news has probably died down now because Aaron Rodgers is not going, or Aaron Rodgers has left and the Jets are not bringing him back. So to me, go get your own guy. Again, we got a Jalen Coker. We were fortunate to get Jalen Coker as an undrafted free agent. Shout out to the co-kids out there. But is Xavier Legette, I want to see him grow. He doesn't need a veteran coming in and stomping his growth. You already have that veteran in the room with the Adam Thielen. You bring back David Moore, I like that idea as well. But I do think we need to draft a wide receiver, mold it together. An example I have used is look at how the Green Bay Packers helped Jordan Love. For 2 years straight, they drafted every wide receiver in that room. They have not went to go get one veteran to round out that wide receiver room. Every wide receiver that has been on that roster has either been drafted by them or was an undrafted free agent. So again, for wide receivers, I like all of them, but I just wanted to highlight Jimmy Horn Jr. Shot him out, had the opportunity to interview him at the Shrine Bowl. Definitely is pulling for him. He definitely said he wants to, make his dad proud. If people do not know, his dad is incarcerated in Florida. Shout out to Prime, the Amazon series, where he definitely said he is not stopping and he wants to make his family proud. So I'm rooting for the young man. And I definitely think out of this group, I think Carolina will choose one of these wide receivers. I can guarantee. I know it's a lot, but with the 2, 4, 6, about the 8 wide receivers we have on this screen, I can guarantee you Carolina would draft one of these wide receivers to go along with this 2025 class of draftees. So let's go ahead and go to running back. Shout out my guy Taj Brooks out of Texas Tech. I had to put his stats up here because I don't think a lot of people are giving him the respect that he needs. He's a healthy running back, almost over 1,500 yards, 17 touchdowns on 286 carries. Again, he's the leading rusher in Texas Tech history, had back-to-back 1,500 yards rushing. But you do have a Devin Neal out there out of Kansas, DJ Giddings out of Kansas State, Rashard Smith, SMU, had an ACL surgery. I want to know if he's going to run. If he does, that is a running back I am intrigued about. Jaquez Hunter out of Auburn. And Cal, man, I'm going to mess it up, man. Mangata. Go ahead and tell me I messed his name up, but Mangata out of Rutgers. But again, I honestly think Taj Brooks, if he has a good 40, does good on field work, I think Taj Brooks is going to move up even more. The board has changed since really we haven't had any football. People are looking at tape. People are listening to what the scouts have said. Taj Brooks had a good showing here at the Shrine Bowl. That's the reason why I fell in love with Taj Brooks. I know we need a running back. I opened it up to soliloquy before we showed the slides that we need a running back behind Chuba Hubbard. I think if Taj Brooks comes in or whatever team he goes to, he's going to be he's going to keep his head down, get his hands dirty on the field, and be a gem for someone else as well. But I'm hoping our Panthers get him because, again, having back-to-back 1,500-yard seasons is very hard. And he's playing in the Big 12. Again, this is even last year before Texas and Oklahoma went to the SEC. So Devin Neal is one of the highest running backs I did see. I know the running back out of Arizona, everybody's enamored with as well. But again, DJ Giddings is a fast change of pace back as well. Again, we already said Rashard Smith out of SMU had an ACL tear. Let's see what he does with running as well. Jaquez Hunter, a lot of people were getting him at the 5th round. He was basically a one-man wrecking crew when he was at the University of Auburn and Rutgers. Like I said, there was another running back that came out of Rutgers that people were surprised about, and that was Isaiah Pacheco, and he took the league over even whenever they had the Kansas City Chiefs had several running backs in front of him. So for me, again, we have interior linemen. We highlighted Walter Nolan. I think everybody should pay attention to how he does with his numbers and how his field work looks. James Pierce Jr. out of Tennessee. That's for our edge rush highlight. Linebacker. Jack Kaiser out of Notre Dame. Couple of defensive backs. Will Johnson, Siobhan Revel Jr., and Noah Williams. Wide receiver, Jimmy Horn Jr., and running back, Taj Brooks. So, again, tell me what you guys think. What are our biggest needs, or what particular player you guys are looking for to seeing if the Carolina Panthers meet with at the Combine? How do they look on their field work? Tell me in the comments. Tell me in the chat. Let me know. Again, you know we love the comments over here at What's Up, Dub. Definitely leave us a comment and let us know exactly what prospects are you looking forward to in your mock draft or for us to draft in April. So before we head out, let's go ahead and pull up the upcoming schedule for content. After we drop our combine video, we will be on vacation. We will not return back to March 13th, where we'll talk free agency, the combine, and we will do our next mock draft of we've already had 1 and 2 out. 2 is for our members only. Again, if you want to see that mock draft, we gave you guys 3 different scenarios, 3 different mocks. Again, if you want to join, we'll leave that comment in the chat for you as well to become a member of the Dougie Effect. Also, on March 13th, we'll have special guests Ricky Raines and Egger from Twitter joining us, and also Ricky Raines is from Panthers on Tap. Then on March 20th, we will have another free agency and NFL news, talk about who signed who during the start of free agency, and also talk about NFL news leading up to the draft in April. Also for that Blitz Talk, we will have special guest One Carolina John join us to give his expertise, how he feels about free agency. We also might throw a little mock draft out there to John, man. So you guys stay tuned for that, man. But again, Combine is here. We won't be able to watch it. Again, we will catch it on the replay. But again, I wanted to give you guys the position groups. Again, it was a lot of names that I did throw out there. Again, I will put it in chapters so you guys can look back at what particular players we're looking at. I honestly think we will get a lot of tea leaves based off of what the media puts out, and also boots on the ground and what they're here. Who Dan Morgan's probably talking to will know more about who we're meeting with. Again, if they met with them at the Shrine Bowl and the Senior Bowl, that's check number 1. But with them meeting them, if they met them already and then meet them again at the Combine, pay close attention to that as well, because we did the same thing last year. Again, six of our 7 drafted players attended the Shrine Bowl, attended the Senior Bowl, and we also talked to them at the Combine. So that's your tea leaf right there to kind of figure out who Carolina's going to look at possibly drafted, man. So again, it's your man, C. Dougie. I appreciate everybody that stayed to the end of the video. Hit a thumbs up for us as well, man. As we always say over here, what's up, Doug? We're a family. Everybody stay safe. Everybody stay blessed. Until next time, peace.